Hello and welcome to another video. Today we're in Warsaw, Poland, and we're going on another metro adventure on the Red Line M2 from west to east across the city of Warsaw, looking at some beautiful stations inside and also some of the things that we can find outside. So let's go. Nick has also managed to get sick, so we're going to try and survive this adventure.
Well, at least we've hopefully got a very funky metro line adventure coming up to distract me from my cold. As always, first job is to get a ticket. We've got a range of ticket options and languages to choose from. Here I'm getting a 24-hour day ticket which costs 15 zloty at the time of filming, and this will allow us to get on and off the metro as many times as we wish during the journey. Heading down to the tracks, it's time to take a look at the highly glamorous westernmost station on the line, Bemowo. Loving the ceiling structure, beautifully textured with the brown diamonds as well as the corrugated metallic side panels, very snazzy. Here comes the train, so it's time to jump aboard and get this adventure through the beautiful city of Warsaw rolling. We're straight onto one of the very modern metro trains with a plethora of digital screens, making it really easy to keep track of exactly where we are along the line. Here's a closer look at the map of the line. Starting in western Warsaw, we're heading east into the city centre and then across the river, before taking an end-of-line curve, finishing up in the northeast, a total journey of around 16.9 kilometres.
Next station, Vola.
Off at the second station of the M2 Red Line, Ulrikov, you can see it boasts a fairly similar design to the first station, but here the ceiling panels are in a square formation rather than a diamond, and the corrugated metallic side panels are more of a tealy green rather than the silvery grey at Bemowo. A few people commented in the previous M1 line video about the chirpiness and positive energy, which was very sweet. Today I'll attempt to bring a bit of that as I wake up and steam out some of this manky cold.
So we're getting off at the second station, which actually seems really quiet in terms of almost nobody getting off, but I guess why would you just do such a short metro journey? Just trying to keep topped up on hot liquids.
Anyway, slap bang outside the second station is a big shopping centre, and as we know on the channel, always rude not to check that out.
It does look like there's some really interesting stations, particularly in this western portion. Obviously I had to travel from the centre to get to the end station in order to start this, so I've had a little preview of some of them and they look really interesting and really nice.
Inside we've got your fairly standard outer suburb shopping centre, pretty typical range of stores and cafes. Cool indoor playground though. I would have loved a big curly whirly tube slide as a kid. Looks great. Directly outside the shopping centre we've got a mini gardens and chill out area with plenty of bench seating, a little swing and even some sunbeds. Bet this is a great little spot in the summer. Now, as they say on the aeroplanes, brace yourself for sudden windy audio. Don't worry, it doesn't last long.
Well, the shopping centre was certainly good for a bit of food and a toilet stop, but the weather is not ideal today. I don't know if you can see or I guess hear how windy it is. It's also about to rain. I'm full of cold. Are we going to survive? Anyway, we're going to head back into the metro and go and see some more of these cool stations along the western part of the line.
Did I mention I have a cold, by the way? Okay, I'll stop yapping about it now as it's time to go back down for another metro ride. Woohoo! And here we are arriving at the incredibly zingy green Księcia Janusza, such a quirky, pointy, and kind of triangle-y design. And yeah, I know it should be triangular, not triangle-y, but it sounded better in that sentence. If the grammar police are watching, I'm sure they'll make themselves known as per usual. Anyway, look at this rather dangerous looking bench. It's giving geometric pommel horse. Loving the neon signage down by the tracks and also on the way out. Apparently the green design of this station is actually a reference to two nearby parks. As I noted in the M1 Blue Line video, these videos do tend to pick up a large audience from the country they're filmed in, so my apologies to all Polish people for butchering your lovely language. I will be trying my best. Most of the comments were quite complimentary, but if you want to be a keyboard warrior troll, go ahead. It helps the algorithm.
So we're off at the next station, which sounded something along the lines of Księcia Janusza, something like that. I'm really on the struggle bus with the Polish station names. It's a really hard language anyway, and a lot of the sounds and the letters just, for me, do not compute. And actually the announcements on the metro, they usually announce the name I think 3 times, but it just sounds like so fast, really difficult.
I reckon this is also to do with the announcements not being very loud in comparison to the noise of the trains. Either that or I'm going deaf. Outside we've got grey weather, grey buildings, but the ever useful signage showing distances to nearby sites and metro stations.
So I think the next metro station is pretty much in a straight line, fingers crossed. The distances between the metro stations do vary a lot, as in all cities, but particularly here, some of the distances look really small, but they're actually huge. If you saw the video on the blue line yesterday, kind of knackered myself trying to get between some of them on foot. It is interesting because there's more to see, but you just cannot do that between every station, otherwise it would take about 5 days to film, which is time I do not have.
But congrats to the couple of people in the comments who mentioned that they once walked the full line without any use of the train just for fun. Very impressive. Here's a dinky little football ground, I'm guessing based on the graffiti that it's home to Olimpia Warszawa. Often these small stadiums actually produce a better atmosphere than the more clinical, huge modern ones. On the theme of graffiti, we've got some more colourful street art under the road bridge. Any translations of what they say would be much appreciated in the good old comments section. Fun fact, one of my inspirations for Metro Line adventures was ending up on a motorway trying to walk Seoul's Shinpundang line. I'd give that 0 stars on TripAdvisor, do not end up on the Korean motorway.
Although the city is so expansive and therefore a bit difficult to walk around because of how big it is, it's actually really easy in terms of footpaths. There are footpaths and cyclepaths everywhere, even alongside some of the biggest roads. In a lot of cities, the lack of that makes it difficult to walk around because you end up following the footpath and then suddenly the footpath ends and it's a big motorway or massive road and you're trying to cross the road, go on a grass verge, the path just cuts out.
Just above the next metro station of the same name is this lovely train station, Warszawa Młynów. Looks like a pretty handy transfer connection. Down into Młynów metro station we've got spots and dots everywhere, circle-tastic. More funky neon signage, and the dots and spots theme is continued all the way through to the platform ceiling. Now, I said one of the first line stations was serving up Cruella de Vil's bathroom chic. This is also a bit 101 Dalmatians, gotta be honest. I do like the calming dark blue walls, which are meant to refer to a local swimming pool. These definitely help to balance out the black and white spots. I have seen that from the first line video the Polish audience is excellent at adding extra information about the line and the station, so if you do have anything to add, feel free to put it in the comments. Vroom vroom zoom zoom, and we're already through to the very glamorous bronzy gold Płocka. Another design that's different to all of the previous stations, and all matching details including seating have been considered. Pretty cool. I feel as though this station design is serving like Olympic medalist. But in actual fact the bronze and copper used here is a nod to the industrial history of this particular area. Out we go to street level for some suburban realness.
More of a residential area. We're finally away from some of the bigger roads on this particular street, although I think there's another one coming up. It's also starting to rain as well.
Some people clearly still have plenty of energy though.
Spoke too soon, we're back on another huge boulevard slash highway and heading towards the high-rise buildings of the city centre.
I do love that cycling is so popular here, and it does look to be a great way of getting around the city efficiently. More tall buildings and helpful signs indicate that the central area is approaching. Woohoo! Oof, my absolute favourite graffiti of the adventure so far. Great contrast between the bold bright colours on the wall in front with the kind of clapped out rundown building behind. Very, very nice. Love that. And if any of it turns out to say something random, unusual or rude, then I like it even more. The next station has a menacing looking red entrance. Absolutely love. Feel as though we're about to descend into some supervillain's evil lair, and maybe we are. As a side note, just a couple of blocks away from here is Warsaw Uprising Museum, open weekdays from 8 till 6 except for Tuesday when it's closed, and weekends 10 till 6, definitely a must see for history buffs. Anyway, down we go into the very bold, very red, and very hard to pronounce Rondo Daszyńskiego. I'm actually fully here for the red on the red line, makes sense, kinda pop arty, massive lettering too, great. Now, I saw from comments on the M1 video that a couple of people were thrown off by the use of the line's designated colour rather than just saying M1 all the time. But yeah, M1 first line, blue line, or M2 second line, red line, same difference really, I think. I also read that the future M3, M4 and M5 lines have already been assigned green, purple and yellow. Definitely have to come back and explore those in the future. This is followed by Rondo ONZ, which has conjured up a very similar flavour but in white. I'm less fussed on this design, gotta be honest, not as effective on a white background, for me anyway. This area is pretty flooded with traffic, but leads us nicely onto some more funky graffiti. Loving the use of the windows, the military guy's mouth, that's cool. Next we're approaching Warsaw's iconic National Palace of Science and Culture. I've just actually been up what's presumably the twin of this building in Riga, Latvia, and there's a vlog from Riga coming very soon. Tap on the beautiful shiny subscribe button for that, as well as more Metro Line adventures from other cities on the way. Some very cool and unique architectural designs around the central square area, as well as another of Nick's favourite things to put in a video, a relaxing fountain. We're crossing the square in a different way to the M1 video, which brings us through this gritty yet slippery looking skate park towards the only change station on the Warsaw metro system, Świętokrzyska. This dreamy looking tunnelled escalator glides us down through the stars to the very yellow platform. Again, very bold and bright wall lettering with pretty minimalist benches here. Quite a contrast from the dark green of the M1 Świętokrzyska station. Here we're whizzing through the very purple Nowy Świat Uniwersytet station. The lighting is kind of UFO vibes, space-tacular. We then arrive at the bright blue Centrum Nauki Kopernik station, where another dreamy star tunnelled escalator takes us up to ground level.
So we've got off at this station because it's by the river. It's meant to be a cool mermaid statue which I think is coming up. I just guess which exit to get out of. I'm not one of those people that bothers to look at the metro station maps to see which exit goes where. I tend to just follow where the most people go. I assume that that's where the most interesting things are, which again works the majority of the time.
This stunning bronze statue of a mermaid with sword and shield was made by sculptor Ludwika Nicheva in 1939 and is approximately 25 feet tall. The Mermaid of Warsaw is a symbol of the city represented in its coat of arms as well as in a number of statues and other imagery.
Right, I definitely need to pick up the pace now because the light is fading, it's windy, it's raining, there's grey clouds everywhere. So let's check out a couple more of the stations and then try and get to the end of this metro line. Again, I think I said it yesterday in the other metro video about the blue line. The trains are so frequent on the Warsaw metro, it's like every couple of minutes. And this makes it perfect for the things that I'm doing because sometimes in cities there's too much of a gap between the trains, so you don't want to pop off just to see one thing and then you've got to wait 8 to 10 minutes to get to the next station, because if you do that everywhere it's hours of just waiting and waiting. And also it's one of the only metros where you see the train come in and you don't necessarily just run down the stairs and try and get straight on it because you're thinking, now I have to wait another 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes. With this, you know that there's another one along in a couple of minutes, so you don't really need to rush in the same way as a lot of other metro systems.
And with that Warsaw Metro whoosh, we're already at Stadion. It's mean and green, but pretty intricate ceiling construction with the different levels and shapes though, really appreciate that.
I think I always manage to curse myself in these videos. Literally at the last station I'm always like, yeah, I always follow the crowd and just come out with the best thing. This time I'm completely at the wrong side for the stadium. The stadium's over there. It looks really impressive actually. You can see it from my hotel because my hotel is like kind of diagonally across the river the other way. The nearest metro to it is actually the previous one, but it's not that close. It's I think about a kilometre or more away. Where I am is kind of an extra bus trip just down from the centre. It's not really far, but it's just away from the lines. I will get a slightly closer look at this, and then I'm getting back on the metro because I don't know how much you can see that, but my screen is covered in rain. The weather is cooling a lot, and yeah, not very pleasant, unfortunately. But the stadium design itself is beautiful.
Before I drown or waterlog the camera, let's continue along the metro line to the rather basic chic of Svedska and Targówek Mieszkaniowe. Why weren't these two stations given a splash of colour or neon? They look very basic. As far as I could gather from a bit of research, these two stations and the next one were all designed by an Italian company. They don't really fit in with the rest of the line in my opinion, but let me know what you think in the comments. So the same thing applies here for Trocka, kind of bland compared to the stations further west. Thank the Lord of Metro design for these rather uncomfortable looking, yet at the same time pretty sleek and sexy benches. They look like that game where you guide a hoop along a wire and get a shock if you touch it.
Looks as though I've pretty much got this station to myself. There's a couple of people down there, and I think a couple at the bottom, but almost nobody compared to obviously the chaos of the city centre. I guess by this point in the east most people have gotten off for home. I don't know how many people live in this area. If you're from Warsaw or Poland, maybe let me know. I do like that every station pretty much is different. I think the previous three that we skipped were all similar, kind of just white and grey. But I like that the ones in the west and a few of the others... Another train coming, I guess. But I like that most of them have got their own different style. On a lot of metro systems, there's not much to say about the stations because all of the stations are the same. So it's obviously interesting to go outside. But as for the stations themselves, all very similar a lot of the time. The only thing I wonder about some of the stations, particularly the ones with the really garish like primary colours, I wonder how they will look in like 50 years time, because obviously they look quite modern now because this line is only about 10 years old, but how will they actually look in the future when they're a bit run down? I don't know if those like bright yellows and stuff will just look awful. This one I think is more tastefully done, more simple, so I think this will look alright when it's older.
Some more pretty zingy walls at Kondratowice platform, and more bathroom-esque glamour tiles on the way out. Outside, we're greeted by fading light and Eastern Warsaw residential realness. I'm into it.
It seems to be mainly apartment blocks, a few little shops and takeaways. I think that's a hospital at the side. And then there's meant to be a big park just close to the last station. But this has been a tough one today. The weather has really changed in the last couple of days. If you saw some of the other videos 2 days ago when I arrived with all my bags and a bigger coat, expecting it to be cold, it was really warm. But then the temperature's really dropped the last couple of days, and obviously today I'm not feeling that well, so it's really hard to talk to the camera. My throat's really sore, so I'm like tripping over my words more. So if you think I deserve a like for actually managing to make it this far, almost to the end station, then please do so. All of these things are good for the algorithm. If you think I should shut up moaning about it, then also give it a like. Woohoo! Generally the engagement is really up on the videos at the moment. The actual publishing is behind the filming. There's still stuff from a previous trip to come up. I'm trying to keep it roughly to every 7 to 10 days posting if possible, but it's obviously not always possible because I have other things to do or I'm out filming on a trip as well. But there are a lot more viewers than subscribers, so if you can subscribe, that really helps, because obviously if I ever make any money out of this, I would spend it on more trips, which means more content, more videos. While I'm doing it for free, it's obviously fun, but it's harder to keep it continuous. So if you do like it, then being subscribed would help the channel. And if you don't like it, how on earth have you got this far in the video?
Now we've got signs for the final station, but before that there's a rather cool park to check out. A classy looking lake, followed by some all-weather hammocks. Is it going to be worth a try?
I'm wondering if it's weird to try out these hammocks by the lake in this weather where it's kind of raining and almost getting dark. Am I going to actually kill myself on this? Oh, potentially. Okay, so we're on a hammock. We've almost reached the final station. And I don't really know why I did that, but I just saw them and I was like, oh, this is actually really cool in the summer, laying there, and then you just by the water as well. But I think chances of injuring yourself on this giant hammock right now when it's almost dark, probably quite high. So let's get to the final station.
Some very lovely lighting, adding to the colourful, funky theme of this entire metro line. Well, most of it, except for a couple of bland stations. What do you think? Do you think this is the funkiest metro line in Europe, or are there others? Let me know in the comments. Let's head down into the final station, Bródno, where another pretty funky and zingy looking wall design welcomes us to the end of the line. But I'm hopping straight onto a train.
So we're back on the metro. It's pretty empty at the end station. That's where we're going to leave the video for today. If you enjoyed it, remember to like, subscribe. It's really important that people are subscribed, comment. I'm going to take these hauls. Other brands are available. Probably have some soup or a hot cup of tea, something like that. And I'll see you in the next one when hopefully I'll be feeling a bit better.